me let me know, okay? It's in Silicon Valley, and we invest in Silicon Valley as the main, but we also invest in Asia. And when I wanted to invest in Asia, I actually started investing in Japan as the main country, because that's where I actually went to college. And I speak Japanese, so if you want to speak to me in Japanese, I think I can do the job, probably. And then I wanted to invest in somewhere else, and I was looking for the next big country in Asia that can really become successful. And I found Indonesia. And I feel that all of you in Indonesia can actually really do a good job and can build the next Silicon Valley most probably in Asia. And that's why I thought that I would make my commitment that I would invest in Indonesia really successfully and effectively. I actually already invested into a few startups from Indonesia. For example, I invested in a company called Hijab, which actually does Muslim fashion, right? So I invested in them. I really like Ajang, the CEO. Actually, she is one of the person who actually has a lot of passion and energy, and I feel that she can actually make the next big thing. I also invested in a company called Bride Story, right? It actually does wedding, wedding planning, and then it also helps the different vendors sell their stuff about wedding. Also, it actually does the review of different vendors. So you are picking up your flower shop to your restaurant and everything. They will actually do the review of those sites. We also invested in a company called Alu Doctor, which is something like we have in US called WebMD. This is the WebMD of Indonesia. So actually, you can actually get advices from professional doctors. And this is another company that we recently invested. So these are some of our investment in Indonesia. Now, why Indonesia? I'll tell you, and why I wrote this book. Where is the book? I'll take a copy of it. So I first published this book in Tokyo because Japan is second motherland to me, and so when I wrote this book in Tokyo, you'll be surprised that we actually sold 68,000 copies of this book. It went so crazy in Japan that a few months ago I was in a subway and I was talking to a few entrepreneurs, and they told me that you should read the Startup Bible book, and that is the book I wrote. And they told me to give that one book to me. So it really went crazy. The craze went to Korea, and the book was published in Korea, and it was one of the best sellers in the history of Korea. And I thought that I need to bring this book to someone else. Now, this is a very thin book, but it took me 2 years to actually write this book. 2 years. Please spend 20 minutes to read the book, please. I spent 2 years, okay? So, what this book will give you, so when I wrote this book, I actually thought what I should write. So one of the problems I saw in Tokyo, I saw in Korea, is that there are a lot of books in the market which talks about how to finance your startup. But nobody talks about how to build a great team. Nobody talks about how to build a great product. Nobody talks about how to protect the IP. I have never seen a book which tells you how to exit your company and how to put together a good exit strategy, right? So I tried to summarize everything here, and after that, if you still think that you have many questions, I have also given you my personal Facebook address. What else I can do? You can actually reach out to me, become my friend. If you send me a question, I will guarantee you that you will get a response within 10 business days. Because I have at least 7 people working on my Facebook account to respond to you. So coming back to the book, right? What is the contents and why Indonesia? So why I wrote the book in Indonesia, I'll tell you. I'll tell you from my heart. I actually yesterday gave a speech, and this speech was in Indonesian because I practiced for 3 long days to actually learn to polish my Indonesian bhasa. So why I wrote the book for Indonesian, and why bhasa Indonesia? Why not something else? So when I came to Indonesia 4 years ago, I felt that this is the country which is going to be the next big thing. And you, all of you, the young entrepreneurs here, you guys can create the next Silicon Valley, or a better Silicon Valley in Indonesia and in Asia than we have in US. I feel that you have it, what you need to actually make a difference for you and your country. and I'm committed, and most of the investors will be looking at Indonesia, and this is going to be the next big thing, and we'll all come and try to find the best of the best entrepreneurs here. Now I can tell you that I give this lecture in front of thousands of people. Maybe tomorrow I will be actually giving a keynote in front of 3,000 people in Singapore. And I do that every week. In May I will be giving a lecture at Stanford Business School. But I feel that the energy and passion I see in young entrepreneurs like yourself in Indonesia is different. It is something different that you should believe in and build the next startups. And this book most probably be a good reference. This is not the handbook or something, but I have seen a lot of successful entrepreneurs in Tokyo. I mean, a month ago I visited an entrepreneur. He has built a company which makes about $22 million in revenue. When I stepped into that startup, I've never met the CEO. He actually had one of my books, and the book he read so much, it really looked 100 years old. And he told me, I read your book every day, and I built this company which makes this much revenue. And I told, can I invest in your company? He said, of course, I built this company because I read this book. So that's what it is. This is the passion and energy. So let me tell you what is inside the book a little bit briefly, and then you can go from there, and I will let you ask any questions you have. Okay? Cool. So the book has 6 different sections. The first section, you cannot see. I will explain you, don't worry. Okay? I will explain to you. So the book has 6 sections. The first section is talk about how to build a great team. So if you ask any American VC, what is the most important thing in a startup? And they say that they have 3 things to answer. Team, and team. So that's how important the team is. When we look at a startup at a very early stage, we have nothing else to see but yourself. And I can tell you, in Fenox, in my company, I look at 8,000 companies a year. So when I look at you, your eyes tell me that can you become a successful entrepreneur? That's experience most probably, right? So team is very important, and the first chapter talks about team. The second chapter talks about how to build a great product. And I have tried to explain some of the concepts that have built the best of the best startups in Silicon Valley. Now, that is not the final model. That is a model that you can use as a reference. I do not want to be proud of myself because I came from US Silicon Valley. No, that's not the answer. I have come here to actually put together this book in front of you just to become a good example, just to become a good reference. Now let me tell you this. I myself is not a hotshot, investment banker from Wall Street. No, I am not. I am an engineer. I did my bachelor degree, master's degree, and PhD, all in engineering. I was a nerd like you, most probably. No girlfriends, nobody. Nobody wants to become my girlfriend. But when I went to work in IBM, I started working in IBM New York, and when I started working there, within 6 months, I was picked up to actually do business. And I was transferred to the CEO's office. And by the age of 27, I was the vice president of merger and acquisition for IBM. You know how much money I had to buy companies? I had $20 billion for 5 years to buy companies. And I could buy any countries of Africa with that money. I didn't do that, I go to the jail. So, next thing is, let's talk about the patents. So, in the book I explain how you can protect your IPs. A lot of people are so worried that if I talk about my idea to someone else, then I'm going to lose the idea. They will just defeat me. So I will tell you some of the concepts that how you can protect your IP and technology and still be successful. Okay? Number 4th item is the marketing. At different stages of your company, you need to take different schemes to build your company. Okay? So marketing is very important. This book explains you which stage and what type of marketing you should do to have a successful startup. Number 5 is funding strategy. There are a lot of books in the market. which actually talks about funding strategy, and I talk as well. But still I see, if I talk to many entrepreneurs, I see that you have given away too many shares at the wrong stage. And what happens is that actually breaks the balance of your startup. So if you're trying to build a good startup, at every single stage, you have to raise certain amount of money and only give away a certain level of shares. You cannot give away more or less. Otherwise, you will have a bad time when the company actually grows very fast and you need a lot of money. Then you will not have enough shares to sell out. Okay? So the book talks about the balance of that. And at the final stage, it talks about the exit strategy. I'll tell you, I am an expert of exit strategy. People gave me job to buy and sell companies. Okay? I am the person who sold IBM's PC division to Lenovo. I am the person, I am the one who signed it. And I got a lot of criticism for that this guy sold our country. Okay? So, anyway, that is the exit strategy. So I'm going to go one by one every single stage. So building a great team is very important. You know why Facebook is very successful? That is Mark Zuckerberg, and that is not Mark Zuckerberg's wife. That is actually Sheryl Sandberg, who is the COO of Facebook, okay? So let me tell you this. Mark was having a hard time monetizing Facebook. He did not know how to convert these millions of users into money. He didn't have good idea. So he was looking for a person who could help him monetize Facebook advertising in an effective way. So he actually met Sheryl in a party in Silicon Valley, and then he actually took the initiative and had multiple launches with her. And in 2008, actually he thought he should bring Sheryl as the COO of the company, Chief Operating Officer. After Sheryl joined, she actually put together some effective ways to actually use advertising to make money, and Facebook became so profitable. So this is all happening because he had the right vision to actually bring in someone as the CEO of the company. So finding the team member who is going to be your co-founder is extremely important as you're putting together some startup. Okay? Where you're going to find these people? First of all, look around. If you're in an incubator, maybe, find out people from your alumni connection, right? Go back to your university and see whether you can find people who you know, who you have studied with, and those are the best people to build a company with. It is very important that you do not fight with your co-founders. So you have to find people who has the same mentality, okay? The second thing you can do is you can find people in events. There are Startup Local, there is Echelon, there is also Meetup. There are many events in Jakarta, Singapore, Jakarta, Indonesia right now. You can actually participate in those events. And the final way of doing it is to use the social network. Use Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn to find the right people. In US, you'll be surprised to know that a lot of the hiring is done over LinkedIn today. LinkedIn, even at Fenox, in our company, we do a lot of hiring now using LinkedIn because we feel that the LinkedIn candidates are better. So you can also use LinkedIn to find the right people. Do not be afraid to approach the best of the best people from the world. For example, you are looking for a good engineer, you can try to hire someone from Google in US. Try it. If you do not give it a shot, you even do not know whether you can get a good person. Talking about giving a shot. Look at the structure of a startup. When you are trying to put together a startup, I know that at a startup, CEO does everything, right? He does the marketing, he does the sales, he does the development. But as your company keeps growing, I think one of the things that you want to mention, you start following the basic structure of the company. And in the structure, it is extremely important to have advisors and board of directors, because these are the people who are going to advise you to build the great startup. Finding a great advisor at the very beginning of your company is very important. You always need to find someone. So one person today, I was speaking at the Venus University and mentioning that what is the biggest problem I'm going to face as I launch my startup. And my answer to, how can I solve that problem? So my answer to him was, you will face a lot of problem every single day. And the best way to solve that problem, you need to find a big brother or a big sister who can answer most of your questions. And that is the advisor I'm talking about. When you're talking about advisor, it can be a professor, it can be another entrepreneur who has been very successful in this area. So please find an advisor who can actually advise you and answer to your every single calls with the problems you will be facing. You will be facing a lot of problems, by the way. And you have to solve it, and that's what will make you a good entrepreneur. Talking about product, I'm going to switch quickly because I don't have much time. Okay? When you are building the product, I have seen most of the Asian entrepreneurs, they have one problem. They want to show the product as a perfect product before they launch it to the market. This is one big problem with most of the Asian people. You know, I have seen many young people who have come and tried to show me products. So like, give me 2 more days and I'm going to show you my product, because they want to polish it and be very nice, no bugs, and they want to show me the product. My advice to you would be, you cannot do business that way. If you complete a product and if I do not like the product, then you are losing all of your time, energy and money that you have spent. It goes in vain, right? So most probably, you should build the product in phases. Prototype, alpha, beta, and the final product. Build the product like that. When you have a prototype, you have an idea, you take a prototype, you just put together a mock-up, something that actually gives an idea to the investors that this is how it should work, and then, you know, raise your first money, raise the angel money. Do not complete the product, for God's sake. Do not do it. Because as soon as you get money, you will get some feedback from the investor, and you have to change the product, and you should get advice from people how to change the product. So do not complete it. As it goes to the alpha phase, you can actually do the testing of this by some of your team members. As it goes to the beta phase, your product is a little more mature. You can find some outside people who can test it for you. They call it beta testing. At that point, most probably, you are at a Series A stage close to. You have some customer. And then you complete the final product. So let me talk about a concept that actually can complete this thought process. So there is a concept called lean startup model. How many of you know about lean startup model? Raise your hand. Lean startup model. Okay, a few of you know. So let me explain this model. This is a very basic model that most of the US large corporations and startups follow. Okay, and I will explain you the concept. If you have some idea, do not sleep on it. If you have some idea, launch a startup and execute on the idea as soon as possible. That is the concept 1, okay? When you launch the product, throw it to the consumer or the customer or to the user and let them use it and get their feedback. That is the second concept, okay, of lean startup model. As you get the feedback, fix your original product and relaunch the product to the market. Okay? So I will go back one more time, okay? As you have an idea, launch the product as soon as possible. Once you have the product, get it used by many users and get their feedback. Number 3, as you get the feedback, fix the product and relaunch it again and again and again. Even large corporations in North America, they are following this concept and they are launching the product fast. The goal of winning, the main concept of winning is how fast you can grab the market share. The fastest you go to the market, you are the winner. Please remember, do not worry about any other things. Now, when you go to the market and launch the product, have the flexibility. Most of the entrepreneurs are not flexible. Have the flexibility to get the criticism and change it based on the criticism you get. Then you will actually build the next unicorn from Indonesia. This is the concept of product building. Alright? So let's follow that. More detail inside the book, please, okay? Let's go to the next. So, talking about patent, a lot of the young entrepreneurs tell me, oh, if I talk about my idea, so they actually first send me an NDA. You know NDA? Raise your hand if you know what is an NDA. Everybody knows NDA. This is one thing that everybody knows. So NDA is called non-disclosure agreement. Alright? So this is a document. If I sign, I tell you that I am not going to talk about this product with someone else. Okay? So a lot of entrepreneurs I have seen, they have actually sent me an NDA to sign. That okay, then you are not going to talk about my idea to anyone else, or you are not going to build that startup. I do not have time. I am talking to 8,000 companies in a year. I wish I could make 8,000 companies a year. I will die. Okay? I'm already dying. So one of the things is that as you are having an idea, I will suggest that don't worry about the patent that much. Don't worry about the IP that much. Throw the idea to the market and launch your company as soon as possible. What you can do is that you can file a patent. The minute you file a patent, there is a date that goes with your patent. As long as you have the date, you win it. So don't worry about the patent to come back with a certificate to your hand. If you wait for that, all of your teeth will be gone by then. Okay? Because you'll be too old to build a startup by then. Because patent office takes 50 years to file a patent. I'm just joking. 2 years maybe, or 3 years. But don't wait for the patent, okay? Let it flow. File the date, and you have the date, and do it. Now, patent filing can be very expensive. In any country, it's a very expensive thing, and you don't have the money for that. I will suggest that you file a provisional patent, a temporary patent. Every country has that. If you file a provisional patent, most probably your cost will be only 20% of the full patent. With that, you can most probably keep your right up until 2 years. By that time, you can fundraise and pay towards a full file patent. Make sense? That's what you want to do. Then, where to file the patent? That's another big question. That, oh, I am in Indonesia, where should I file the patent? I mean, you can file the patent in US. Why in USA? Because there is a buyer, most probably for your company, is from US. Still 90% of the world's M&A is done by the US large corporations. So you should file a patent in US to show that your company has a lot of value. Also file in China, but that's for a different reason. Okay, I'm not going to tell that. Okay, if you have more money, file in Singapore also, right? Because Singapore has a global image, right? So those are the countries where to file your patent. Okay. Now let's talk about marketing. Where you, what kind of marketing you should do? I have seen a lot of startups. I'm sure that you have a lot of idea, and you think that, man, I wish I could put together a ad on the newspaper. Don't do that. I mean, if you are a young startup and if you're still in the seed round, very early round, putting an ad on the newspaper is not worth it, and it's too much money to spend. I will start in a very systematic way. Now, this might not be the best possible way, but this is what most of the successful startups around the world have done. And this is well described inside the book, by the way. But at the very beginning of your company, let's start doing blogging, okay? When you go to the second stage, rely on YouTube. You see, YouTube, please remember, picture is powerful than word. Video is more powerful than picture. Okay, so if you go like this, text, picture, video. Video is the highest class. You are all Indonesian, right? Your investors might be from France. You have to relate. Do you speak French? You do not. Even I do not. But your video speaks. So if you put together a video, anybody around the world will be liking your company and invest in your company. I have seen many successful startups who put together a very nice video clip, and that's what makes the fundraising very easy. You might not be a good presenter. You know, most of the time when the kids come to present me, the computer broke down or the computer is not, working. The charge went out because he did not sleep the whole night most probably. Or maybe he or she had a bad day, she could not present well. Video never gets cold. Okay? So run the video and say like, I am the CEO of the... Let's do that. Video it is. Then the next thing is, as the company grows very, very big, I think you can do TV commercial. But for becoming a company which is old TV commercial, most probably you should have $40 million to $50 million in revenue. Then you do a TV commercial. It makes sense. You need to raise a couple of $100 million to actually run a TV commercial. And many companies do that, and that's fine with them. But not a good fit for you at this point. Make sense? So let's go to the next stage. Social media, let's use it effectively. This is not the age of running a magazine ad anymore. Let's rely on social media. I know that every single country has its favorite social media. I know that in Indonesia people use Path, right? In other countries there are other things. So please find out what is the best possible social media for you to grab the local market and then the foreign market. And that's what can give you the best punch. So let's talk about funding, okay? Investment, getting money is also a very key factor in making your startup successful. If you are in the seed round or a seed company, nowadays there is a new concept called crowdfunding. So crowdfunding is something that can really, really help you fundraise. I'll tell you, a few months ago, I found a great startup which has a great track record in North America. And when we looked deep into that company was from a countryside of Malaysia. And that company had so many fans from North America. They raised money from the crowdfunding really well. What they had a very nice video. So if you're going to crowdfunding, the only thing that it speaks is your video, right? So crowdfunding, let's make effective use of this. For this, you do not need to rely on a single people, you are going to rely on a lot of people. The other merit of crowdfunding is that by the time you raise money, you also have a lot of users because people pre-buy. So you know that your product is popular. So when I, as an investor, see that you are doing good in a crowdfunding, I tend to give you money. There is a 60 to 70% possibility that you convinced me if you raised money well in crowdfunding. If you tell me that you raised $2 million in crowdfunding and you have got the money from maybe 200,000 people or something, there is a very high likely possibility I'll give you money. Come to me and tell me that, I'll give you money. For the next round. And when I give you money for the next round, you're secure for the next round and next round and next round. So that's what happens. It's a cycle, but you need to prove yourself, okay? So let's talk about incubators and accelerators. This is also one of the best incubators in the country, that's what I heard, right? Yeah. Maybe the number one?
But we're not in your book.
Not in my book?
It was written 2 years ago.
Can you publish a second book?
I should have told button. Sorry about that. So, incubator and accelerator is very important. If you have an idea, these are the other friends that you can have who can convert your ideas into a company. So if you get into an incubator, you not only get some financial help, you get mentorship. I was talking to you about the big brother and sister. If you get into an incubator, that solves the problem. You have many big brothers and sisters who actually can help you with mentorship and solve your day-to-day issues, day-to-day problems. Make sense? So, some of the incubators that are playing a role, obviously here, I mean, you can actually, this is one of the best incubators. And then, obviously, we have Founder Institute, we have Meraputi, I know that JFDI is in Singapore. So these are some of the other incubators that are in this region who can actually help you turn your dream into reality. Okay? Let's look at the next level of funding. As you got into an incubator or got some seed funding, you have to take the next level of funding. So the next level of funding can come from two different entities. One, it can come from angels. So look at the night sky and pray for the angel to land. They do not have wings. These are regular people without wings. Okay? So angels can really help you, invest. And there are many angels. If you go to US and if you go to Silicon Valley and you walk and you bump into someone, he's an angel. That's how many angels you have. I'm not kidding. This is out of joke. If you go to Silicon Valley, even my grandma is an angel. Because everybody who works and get a decent salary, at some point in their life in Silicon Valley, they have invested in a startup. And that's why makes Silicon Valley such an amazing place. So here there are some people from large corporations I know. Please become an angel for the sake of this remaining of these young people who are going to make a startup. Right? Don't you want them to be angels? Yes. So you should tell your parents that all of them should become angels. That way Indonesia will give birth to many, many successful startups. And that is part of the ecosystem that we need to change here. Okay? So the next thing is venture capital. So people like me, professional investors. So we look at things a little bit tough, but one thing that happens, I'll tell you. In Silicon Valley, people like me, venture capital, when I give you money, please remember, I'm not giving you money only. I am going to take your responsibility. Okay? What I mean by that, when I give you money, but I give you my commitment that I am going to make you successful. You know what that means? So in Silicon Valley, there is a concept. Money plus advice, that equals to smart money. Money plus advice equals to smart money. Money plus no advice equals to dumb money. So what kind of money you want? Smart money. So you want to take money from investor who not only gives you the money but also gives you the right advice so that you can become successful. Okay? So I tell you that when I really commit for some startup, we also think that we're giving the money. Giving money is very easy, but we also want to make sure that we have enough resource and time to actually commit to this startup. That's why when we give money, we think two different things. Should I give the money? Do I have enough time for these people? It's a different mindset. Venture capital is not easy, but if you take money from the right venture capital, then you most probably will be very successful. So most probably you know which venture capital to take money from, right? Of course, Anis. Fenox Venture Capital, right? Yeah, here you go. You can actually contact me, and I promise you, I will honestly look at your project, and if you will get a fair judgment, and you will get the money if your startup deserves it, and if you get the money from Fenox, you have a very high likely possibility that you will be successful, because we will put our time and energy to make you successful. Now I'll tell you what kind of help we do. We actually not only help you with advice and become your big brother and sister. Many startup CEOs call me at my cell phone in the morning, at night, at a different time. And those advices we give them actually are invaluable because we actually have a lot of experience, right? Don't think that I'm very old. So what I'm going to do is, so not only we are actually giving the advice, we also help you with two different helps. When your company grows, you need partnership with large companies. We help you hook up with large companies. So we call the other CEOs and hook you up with other CEOs and make business possible for you. Because most of the big companies, they do not want to work with the small companies. Unless someone is strong, picks up the phone for you and say like, I strongly recommend this, work with them. I will help you do that. The other thing I will help you with, as you grow and have some big status, I will actually help you meet a big company who is ready to buy you. So merger and acquisition becomes very important. You want to go out IPO or you want to actually get bought by a big company, the venture capitalists play a major role in making that happen. That's why when you get money from one of the top VCs, you do not need to worry about your life. You are all set. Okay? So always try to get money from good people who actually have good track record. Next thing, this is a very important item and I have tried to explain this in detail inside the book, is that do not give away any more share than you are supposed to be at a certain round of your company. I have met many entrepreneurs that after seed round of funding, they have come back and told me that I have given away 40% of my company. That's not acceptable. I mean, no VCs should do that. I tell it to my fellow VCs, please do not do that. And I think the startups, you need to get yourself educated. You cannot do that. Do not give away more than 20 to 25% of your company at the seed round of funding. That's not acceptable. Do not let people fool you. Okay? Many VCs will hate me after this. That, you know, I found this young kid and took 60% of the company for $6. Right? Do not let them do that. Do not give away 20% of the company. As your company goes to the Series A stage, please do not give away more than 30% stock in Series A round. Why I am telling you that? If you do not have, when your company is growing into a big company, if you do not have enough share for you and your team, which is the working team, then you do not have the motivation to make this company successful, right? If you own only 1% of the company, do you care? You better sleep at home, right? Take some rest, right? So please make sure that we do not give away even a little bit more than you're supposed to give away to the investors, right? That will help you make a great company. Good investors, they always think about you and they always help you balance it out, because I know at the end of the day, if you are not working hard, this company is not going to be successful, right? So we have to balance it. Exit. I will talk about two different types of exit. There are two different types of exit you can have. You can go for public, which is called initial public offering, IPO. I know that Indonesia has a market. Indonesia still do not have a market for .coms, right? But hey, you have a great market in Singapore. You can do your IPO in Singapore. There is a great market in Korea called Kosdaq. Kosdaq actually gives great exit, so you can do an IPO in Kosdaq. There is a great market in Tokyo. That is the second largest market in the world. You can actually go to Mothers in Tokyo, which actually can give you a decent exit if you are trying to go IPO. Now, as you grow your company, you can feel it that should I go for an IPO or should I go for an M&A? And I think situation will answer you that question. Okay? This is the second type of exit is the M&A, merger and acquisition. For a merger and acquisition, you need to find out from the very beginning of your company that who is going to be your potential buyer. You really need to know. And when, as an investor, I ask you, do you have an exit strategy? You better be able to answer that. You need to at least know what type of company can be a potential buyer for your startup. We are investing our hard-earned money into you, and you have the responsibility to return that money with a premium, right? It's a give and take business. That's what makes this business grow, and that's what makes the startup successful, and that's what makes the ecosystem to survive, right? So it's a give and take. So you should take the responsibility to find out from day one that how I can make it the biggest hit in the planet. Make sense? So let's do that. So that's all in my book, because I came here. Become my Facebook friend, okay? anis.uzman.37. Tonight, if you send me this friend request, I'm going to accept it. I know that I'm going to accept many, fake emails also, but please do that and become my friend, and I will try to answer most of your questions down the line.